Welcome to Hey Angelo. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get a loan when you're purchasing your house. Now, since you really can't get the money yourself, you're always going to be working either with a bank or a mortgage broker. We're going to try and stay out of the weeds today and just talk about the overall what your options are, how you find out which type of person you want to talk to, and what kind of information they're going to need in order for you to move forward. Now, what's the difference between a banker and a loan officer or a mortgage broker? And do you really care on the differences? It's really just the difference of whether the banker is working for the bank. A mortgage broker can work for anyone. Loan officer, sort of interchangeable. And before I forget, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you need a referral, be happy to give one out to you. But otherwise, again, this is just to give you a little bit of information and hope you enjoy it. When you're trying to choose someone, whether it be the banker or the loan officer or whatnot, each one has different disclosures that they have to give you. Each one has different licensing. Some don't need licensing, but you just want to pick somebody that you feel comfortable with, and what you should expect from that person. Now, the information they're going to want from you are 2 years of tax returns, 2 years of your W-2s. Now, that's not just your tax returns; it's that document you're going to get from your employer. In order that you can do your taxes, you need your ID, 2 months of bank statements, 2 months of pay stubs, not necessarily required, but I think it's something that you should provide, and then sourced down payment. Where's your down payment coming from? Whether it be 3%, 5%, 20%, 30% down. They'll sometimes talk about sourced and seasoned. Sourced is, where did you get it from? Did you just get a $20,000 deposit in your checking account? That throws all kinds of red flags up. So you want to make sure that it's been there for a while. Most people say 60 days, do 90 just in case. Seasoned is, again, how long it's been there. Sourced is where it came from. If you cashed out an IRA, did you get a gift from a parent? They're going to want to know where that money came from. And if it's been there for over 90 days, usually it's just accepted that it is your money and you didn't borrow it in order to put something down. If someone doesn't ask for this information as a loan officer or a mortgage broker or whatnot, they probably aren't 100% on board up front. They should let you know these are the things they need. Other things that you want in order to calculate whether you qualify. And we're going to talk about budgets in another video, but the budget for qualifying for a loan is different than what I think your budget should be in order to live. Banks and loan officers can always qualify you for more than what you probably should be buying. So make sure that you do your own calculations. Make sure you can afford to make the payment on top of what it is that they're telling you can do. But the way they calculate your gross income is they look at your 2-year average. Whether you're self-employed is a lot more difficult, but again, you're going to need your tax returns. You're going to have to prove it. If you just started out on your own for 2 months, and you were either a student beforehand or you had a W-2 before, understand you may not qualify. It's going to be a lot harder to do. I'm trying to talk to you about the general, easy, where most people fall into. And the debt that they're going to look at is the minimum obligation on your credit report and whether you're paying, receiving alimony or child support. All that information goes into calculating whether you qualify for a loan. Now, there's a few different types of loans that you can do. We have conventional loans and FHA loans. Conventional loans is generally 45% debt to income ratio. FHA is 55% debt to income. And again, I was telling you how they calculate the debt and your income, your gross income above. And your withholdings is sort of calculated into that percentage for that 45 or that 55. Credit scores can be anywhere from a 580 on an FHA to a 640 on a conventional. When you get over a 740, you're pretty much at the best pricing for a conventional loan. You can always do better, but this is where most people are looking. Now, understand that when you go to online sources and you're trying to pull your credit report, the credit score you pull from them is different than the credit score the bank is going to pull. The credit score is based on what you're pulling it for. When you're pulling it for yourself, it's not always on when you're qualifying for a home loan. So you can apply for a home loan, a car loan, a credit card, and you could have a different credit score from all three. Don't be pulling your credit from applying for credit cards, buying new cars, going to multiple different people when you're trying to see who's going to give you the best rate. because every time someone pulls it, it's going to hurt your credit score. Pick the person that you want, stick with that person, and don't try and buy a new car, apply for a store credit, try and get a discount on something by applying for a airline credit card. You don't want to do any of that stuff right before you're closing on your house. From the moment that you apply for your house until the day after you close, don't be applying for new stuff. Just going to cause you problems. You have conventional loans where you can get a 95% loan to value. Again, I jump around a little bit. Or you can have the FHA, which sometimes can only be 3.5% down. Understand that the less you put down, the more of private mortgage insurance you're going to have to pay. If you put 20% down, there is no PMI, you save a little bit of money there. But it's also harder for some people to put together and put 20% down. We have conventional, we have the FHA. There's also a renovation loan, 203K FHA renovation loan. These loans are if you need to purchase a house and do the renovations. You're going to need a qualified person to do it. The renovations, you're going to have the bank help you a little bit to make sure that they're going to give the payments out. Understand that it causes issues if you're changing contractors in the middle. You want to talk to somebody who really understands how this works. I can give you some recommendations, but talk to someone who's worked on these loans before. Interview them like you would interview anyone else. Hey, how many of these loans have you closed? What information do you need from me up ahead of time? And understand that from beginning to end on most loans, you try and put 45 days from close from when you put the offer in on the house. I've seen it done as quickly as 2.5 weeks, but you really need things in line in order to do that. But typically it's 30 days to 45 days just to be safe. You don't want to be rushing on anything. There's also construction loans and construction to permanent loans. So we have lots of different types of loans to do. Since, again, you can't do this on your own. You can't just walk up to an investor and say, hey, how about you give me a loan? Here's my taxes. I want to get a 30-year mortgage. I'm going to pay it directly to, these either a hedge fund or an insurance company or someone directly. You're not going to do that. You're going to be dealing with a professional in some sort. Unless you talk to Aunt Mildred and she's loaning you the money, and quite honestly, she may not look at most of these documents anyway. But again, since you're not doing this on your own, you're going to be hiring a professional in some way, whether it be the banker or the loan officer. We're not going to get into the tiny, tiny details of that. If you need a recommendation, let me know. Remember, this is entertainment purposes. And we will have another video soon on how you calculate your budget just to make sure you do qualify for it. Things like your insurance, what your taxes are, how the taxes go up. All that fun stuff will go into a closing. But this is just a great idea. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps so that you have the very, very rough idea of how to qualify for a loan, what it is that they're looking for, and what your options are. Good luck.